Shrek 2 is perhaps the best in the series. I think we can all agree that the films after Shrek 2 weren't really that great. And if you've seen my Shrek 1 review, you know that I like that film, but I can never really go back to it for reasons explained. Just go watch my video, I explain everything there. But with Shrek 5 being announced, I thought it would be a great time to talk about when Shrek films were on a high note. Hi there, it's me, the Average Critic. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's talk about Shrek 2. Pure nostalgia heaven. So the title of my Shrek 1 video is about Shrek being a product of its time, sometimes not for a good reason, but Shrek 2 is a product of its time for all the best reasons. Shrek 2 came out in 2004. DVDs were huge in the late 2000s, and this film is actually one of the first films I ever got on DVD. The case is bright green, and of course if you were lucky enough to have this film on DVD, you obviously remember the amazing menu screen of Donkey ripping into making a better title sequence for the film. I mean, what DVDs these days have something so interactive? It even has a special feature of doing Far, Far Away Idol, which is where we get to see our favourite Shrek characters sing in a competition. There is even a Puss in Boots game. It's all here. It's crap and it's rubbish and I love it. I'm also glad I have it on DVD because it has this line.
Some gender-confused wolf.
I'm not gonna lie, that line genuinely made me spit my drink out of my mouth. It was so funny, and you know, I get it, like, maybe that line doesn't work great in today's world and standards, but, you know, if you're going to erase it, then that's erasing history, and history should never be erased. That's all I'm going to say. It made me laugh, and that's it. But this film fills me up with so much joy. This whole film is just fun. It's not perfect, and we will get to those things later, but let's start with something that I think the film massively improves on from the first, which is the animation. The last film's animation is good, but I feel some of the character models look a bit outdated. However, in this film, it's a massive improvement, and I think character models look so much better. We have spoken a lot on this channel about sequels, and I do believe the second one is better than the first. Its story perhaps isn't as strong as the first one, but I do think that the first film has some problems that people really don't talk about. But the second film really deals with some interesting concepts of being in a relationship, and specifically Shrek and Fiona's very special relationship, given that, you know, they are ogres. Things like meeting parents, changing for your partner, and when asking your partner for something is too much. But you never get bored with Shrek 2. The jokes come out of absolutely everywhere. In a true sequel fashion, it dials everything up to 11, and it does so quite amazingly well. There are adult jokes and film references galore in this film, and usually this would get annoying, and it does so in its sequel Shrek 3, but Shrek 2 has all these brilliant film references that would definitely go over people's heads if you've never seen the film, and there's some really obscure ones as well, but they are, and not limited to, Alien, Godzilla, Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, Blazing Saddles, Annie, Jaws, Little Mermaid, Wizard of Oz, and of course, The Mask of Zorro. Oh yeah. And this was the first time we got introduced to Puss in Boots, probably one of DreamWorks' best characters, played incredibly by Antonio Banderas. Puss in Boots is the most amazing meta character ever, being a parody of a character with the actor, and yeah, it's amazing. Puss in Boots is so much fun in this film. He's cute, he's funny, and again, just adds to the style that this film is going for. I'm going to be honest, DreamWorks aren't known for doing the best characters. There have been some breakout roles, of course, but Puss in Boots is by far one of my absolute personal favourites, and it would not work if he wasn't voiced by the amazing Antonio Banderas. Taking the actor who played the character this character is parodying is almost genius, and it wouldn't work any other way. Mike Myers, of course, is doing an amazing job as Shrek. Eddie Murphy is actually much better in this film. I prefer Donkey in this film because he isn't overly relied on as he is in the first film, and all of the characters are fun and enjoyable to watch. And of course, Jennifer Saunders does an incredible job as the fairy godmother. I also just wrote in my notes, Kyle. I laughed for ages at Kyle.
A sporty carriage to ride in style. Sexy man boy chauffeur Kyle. Shadows blush to get that prince with a sexy touch. Lucky day on buffet when you're busy.
It's brilliant. And I can't talk about the fairy godmother without talking about her incredible cover of Holding Out for a Hero. I love this song. I was in Footloose. It's a beautiful song in the original. I've heard lots of covers and versions, and I can honestly say that this is the best version of this song ever. It works not just as, a great version of the song, but with the visuals on screen actually making it quite fun and emotional at times. Shrek storming the castle and switching between him and Fiona is one of the best sequences DreamWorks I think have ever done. It's dramatic, it's funny, it's action-packed. It's the whole package, and I love it so much. And backed up by this amazing track makes it all the more better. Speaking of the music track, I have talked a lot on this channel about animation films using music by popular artists, and in this movie it can become quite distracting and jarring, but I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but in Shrek 2, it works. Shrek 2 is considered having one of the best soundtracks in any film in the past, 20 years? The soundtrack very much reflects the time period of wanting to create a soundtrack to sell for merchandise for your film. But all the music works for the film. Holding Out for a Hero, we have obviously already spoke about. Accidentally in Love opens up the film beautifully. Changes offers a great sequence, with changing being a strong theme in the movie. And even though I do hate it when films end with a song and characters dancing and it's, not a musical, it plays Livin' La Vida Loca, which is my absolute childhood tune. I played this song on repeat for most of my childhood, so it's getting a pass. My video, my rules, deal with it. I freaking love that song. It's my favorite, I'm sorry. Similar to the first film, I do think that the film shifts its focus towards Fiona. Being that instead of dealing with Shrek's problems, it sometimes makes Fiona come across as really harsh and it makes it about her. But it does counter that by making Shrek a bit of an asshole too. But even though I think the film's viewpoint can get a little bit mixed up, I kind of like that it's coming from both sides of a relationship. I agree with both sides at different times, and I think we can all agree most relationships aren't all one-sided. But Shrek 2's themes on changing and relationships is a really strong one, and it works well for the narrative of the film. But above all, this film is just fun. The soundtrack represents the time, and it works well for the movie despite my better judgment. And the new characters of this film make it just so interesting and refreshing. Puss in Boots, even Fiona's parents are fun. There are some good themes on relationships which really catches me off guard, and after all these years, Shrek 2 really holds up. It is a pure nostalgia dream, and the soundtrack lives in my head rent-free. Let's hope Shrek 5 can come back to this standard, as Shrek 3 was, well, that's when it all went downhill. But Shrek 2 is easily the best in the franchise in my opinion, and I absolutely love it. So after all that, it gets my professional rating of 8 out of 10. And it's getting my personal rating of 8 out of 10 as well. Let's hope that Shrek 5 can be just as good as this. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let me know in the comment section which is your favourite Shrek film, or even a Shrek spin-off for that matter, as of course, Puss in Boots The Last Wish was a damn good movie. But make sure to subscribe to the channel for more great content on all things animation, and make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms as well. So thank you so much for joining me in this video, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.